Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kilroy the Red, aka No Product 857 on Reddit. And here today we are playing Trailmakers because a random commenter wanted to see my stability yoke. So as soon as the game actually loads up, here we are. Just listen to that lovely steel drum music. Single player, and I think we will go into Treasure Island. Perfect. Let's go over to my favorite building spot. Excellent. Okay, first things first. We're going to want a frame. Throw that down. Seat. Okay, now let's make a simple, straightforward plane, shall we? First things first. Alrighty. What do we want to use for elevators? Yeah. Come back here. There we go. Okey-dokey. see if those are big enough. We're gonna need some ailerons. Okay, now for some thrust. Basic slapdash airplane. We have some basic controls. Okay, so if I'm going to roll to the right, I want that and that. Okay, very good. Okay, so this one is backwards. We don't want nearly that much angle, but maybe 10 degrees? Maximum speed. Okay. Go ahead and configure both of those since they're pointing in the same direction. So, we want, I pull back, green is up, so that. Now this guy. I go to the... Nope, turn that off. Ah, yes. Toggle. Okay. Definitely need more roll control. A little too much. But hey, we've got a basic flying craft. Build mode, please. Thank you. We're going to throw this up to 20. We're not going to make a well-flying craft. We're just going to make a basic test bed here. So, not even going to test fly this. This should be good. Okay. We have our basic vehicle. It flies. So, if you're not a good pilot, you want this to be able to fly itself. Well, for that, we're going to need some logic. First things first, now here's why I put that 2x4 up behind the seat. First thing is we want rotating servo. Bam. Okay. First I'm going to go configure. Now this, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to disconnect the seat from all of these control surfaces here. Wait, how do you fly the plane? Well, you don't actually need direct control over the flight surfaces with my control yoke. That one you still do, unless we want to use the... Unless we want to incorporate the compass, but not everybody has the DLC, though that probably is going to be changing here in the near future. But for right now, we're going to go with not everybody has the DLC. So we want angle sensors. This one. And this one. Now, these things... No, wrong button. Figure. There we are. That, please. So this goes to this one. And this one. As does this one. Okay. So, what do we want to do here? Well, this is the important bit. Now, you see the blue section, the light blue section? That, of course, when the little ball here is within the blue section, the thing will send an output signal. And, of course, that will make the target go in... positive output makes the target go in the green direction. So, this controls how wide the blue section is. So we want a width of 179 degrees. There we go. See how big that made that? Now this direction, so this is, if you're not familiar with radial geometry, this can be a little confusing. So what this is this is saying at 0 degrees, which is, I want the center of the blue thing on 0 degrees, which is straight up and down. So this one, we're going to go with, well, actually, we want to go negative 91, negative 90.5 degrees. Gotta concentrate. 90.5. Now what that did is, obviously you can see it moved it over, but you'll notice that this isn't actually a full 180 degrees. So if you look real closely, you'll notice that this blue line, the edge here, isn't actually straight up and down, while this one is. So we set this one to 179 degrees. Oops, 79. Wrong way. 179 degrees. Now we set this one to positive 90.5. Oh, too far. 90.5. Bam! Now you can see the blue is on the other side. So if you were to take this blue spot and put it over here on this disc, what you'd find is you'd have this solid blue pattern that comes all the way around here and all the way back up, leaving this tiny little sliver of black in the center that is exactly 1 degree wide. You get a half a degree of motion to the left and to the right where you got your dead zone. This dead zone is important for the stability system. Otherwise, you're just going to get yourself a feedback loop. You have to have some place where it can be off, where both sensors are off at the same time. The reason why you want them, now you can have them overlap at the bottom, that doesn't matter, though you will get fighting if you actually manage to get the craft upside down. This way that transfers, this way if the craft is completely upside down, control to the aileron control smoothly flows from one sensor to the next on the underside. Not that that really matters. Now, one of these is going to have to be, okay, well, let's configure this. So we're going to have direct left-right control over this guy. Now, this needs to be backwards, so that when I want to roll to the left, I spin this to the right. When I roll the left, I want it to go to the right, because the sensors are going to try and make... The sensors are controlling the ailerons, and so the ailerons are going to trigger in such a way that the sensors try and roll the craft. The craft is going to try and keep the sensors center, so if you want it banked to the left, the sensors need to be twisted to the right. Now let's give it a try, and I know one of those sensors is the wrong direction. Okay, we are in need of some... We are in need of a foot. Yeah, we need a test foot. Get it up off the ground. No, gadgets. There we are. Gadgets. This is just so that it sits level. Clunk. There we go. Aha, test bed. So, tap to the right, and to the left. Now see, it's sending both things to the same direction. Now if I go to... Okay, hang on, gotta think. So, if I want to bank to the right, I do that. Sensor's going to go to the left, it's going to try bank to the right. The one going down, the one on the left goes down to bring that wing up, because I'm banking to the right. Okay, which of these sensors is the one that's actually fire? Well, it's the right-hand one, which means I need to go into the output of this one and send this output negative. Now, I'm banking to the right, banking to the left, banking to the right, banking to the left. Okay, now what about the elevators? Well, for the elevators, and I may not have given myself enough space for everything, so we're going to go ahead and move the seat forward a few blocks. Here's where things get a little funky. This is only because of space saving. So, what I like to do is I go and take a shield piece, pop that there, another one there. Okay, now we need 2 more rotating servos. Pop. Bam. Bam. Okay, now we need 2 more sensors. Well, bam. Well, actually, let's just copy and paste these. Okay, now, here's where things get a little weird. We don't actually need to have this one go to the negative direction because they're facing at each other. It gets a little confusing, but I'll move one aside and show you what I'm talking about. Because what you want is you want the blue circle, the blue section, to make a continuous circle one round the other. As you'll see, this one is now on the front half of the disc, and if we go around to this one, it's on the back half of the disc. Even though looking at the face of them, they're both on the left-hand side. But, okay, now this sensor, this rotating servo. So when we pitch back, we want this to go forward. We want this to go back. So when I pitch up, tips that forward. This needs to be set because it's facing the other direction. It needs to be the other way. Did I do that right? Okay. Let's see if I did that right. Okay, we'll go ahead and that controls those 2. Ah, see, I pull back on the stick. Tails swing. The elevators swing up. What is pinching and binding? Ah, it's impacting on the hitbox of the tail. That's hilarious. Nah. So we're just going to go ahead and send the tail backwards 1 block. Give ourselves some room. There we go. Ah, much better. Free and clear. Okay. If I've done my math right. Okay. Fire the engines. Oh, I have not quite done my math right. Fire the engines. Let's try and balance this plane a little bit. Let's see what that does. I think I've got my... Why am I... I've got a weird wiring issue. Okay, this should control those. That should only control the ailerons. This one should only control the ailerons. Elevator. Elevator. Huh. Oh, that should not be controlling its own servo. Not sure why that would be causing us a problem. Why are... Well, I don't think we need quite as much aggressive movement on the elevators. Let's tone those down some. 15 degrees. Let's see what 15 degrees does for us. Also, I think... Yeah, the tail's pointed down. Yeah, we're in a self-continuing loop. Okay, so this is what needs to happen. The output of these guys is backwards. That looks more like it. See how the tail's tipping down and the elevators are now pointed up because it's trying to pick the tail up. There we go. We shouldn't get in a self-repeating loop now. Ah! Oh no! Again, this is a very bad airplane, so... I think I need to tone down the ailerons some. Oh yeah, definitely need to tone down the ailerons some. Yeah, that's... But I don't have my hands on the sticks. So it is essentially flying itself. Definitely need to tone down the ailerons. 10 degrees was a little too much, and 20 degrees is 10 degrees was not enough. 20 degrees is definitely too much. But let's go back to the meadow. Go ahead and see flight. Self-stabilized flight is very definitely a balancing act. That block, please. So we'll split the difference. 15 degrees. You know what? Let's go ahead and slow these guys down to about 0.5. Because that's another way you can do to smooth out the flight handling, is to slow down your control surfaces. 0.5. There we go. Now it can't react quite as quickly. That may bite us in the ass later, but we'll see. Oh, it's up off of the air. It's trying to find center. Rudder doesn't want to work too well. I'm going to go ahead and go into a bank. See how when I hold the bank, the sensors try to be level. let's go ahead and head back there, shall we, there, guys? Game is not happy right now. Not sure why. But you know what? That happens every now and then. Gotta love the game. What are you doing, game? Spawn. We can do a few things to neaten up the controls. Let's make this guy. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and go minimum. Well, we're going to go ahead and 10 degrees on the elevator controls. We'll give ourselves, yeah, we'll give ourselves a 10-degree bank instead of just a 5-degree. Point out to sea there, thank you. May not need as much in the way of wings. Yeah, there is something wrong, something going on wrong with that sensor. Let's double check our wiring. Configures that and that. Configures that and that. This thing configures those, but not that. Check that. Show advanced. 79, 950. Not sure why it isn't lighting up properly. Okay. With these indicators, we should be able to see this turns on that one. This turns on that one. This turns on that one, and this turns on that one. That's not right. I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, anyway. Let's take a look at some previously built things. Let's see if they're having problems. Oops. This one? No, not that one. We want this one. So this is a big, giant, ugly plane. But you'll notice that it has all of the same core components as our little red one. Now, if we look down here inside, underneath the cabin floor, inside the cargo bay, what have we? Oops. What have we here? We have well, the eagle-eyed viewers will be able to, maybe. We have a rotating servo facing forward. We have a couple of angle sensors. And then some rotating servos sideways with some more angle sensors. A lot more fire and fury to get this beast off the ground. But I haven't touched any of the controls, aside from turning the engine on. Alright, let's go into a left-hand bank. Swing that tail around. You will get a little bit of a feedback. You will get a little bit of feedback loop with this stability system. That is inevitable. The game engine doesn't actually have any signal damping capabilities. At least not that I've been able to figure out. Go back to level flight. You can just see back there how the elevator, the elevator tail section is bobbing up and down to keep the plane flying level. Relatively level. More left-hand bank. Swing some left rudder. I still have manual control over the rudder because there's no compass on this plane. Go into a dive. There we go. Bring that nose down. Alright, back to the ground we go. Now, another nice thing that can be done with this particular stability system, I'm going to spawn something real tiny, and let's get rid of some of this lag, shall we? Random thing, hold X. That's a good, quickest way of getting rid of the big thing. See? So much better. Okay. That's for another video. Let's get rid of that. Do I want to do that, or do I want to do... Let's see here. Where is that flyer? There, here we are. Here we go. A gyro flyer. Now this thing, if you'll notice, has the same stability yoke. It's got, this one's got an upgraded version. So we've got the roll control, we've got the pitch control, and now we have yaw control with the sensor blocks. So these are held vertical. So the craft will always try and keep this center stack vertical. I can pitch and I can roll, so it's a complete utility yoke. There, see? Yeah. Aha! There we go. It has found north. Yeah, I'm being a little cheap on power cores. That's why I'm using the spinning servos instead of helicopter engines. Helicopter engines are much more efficient, much more powerful. Can it pick a bell back up? Maybe? Nope. Okay. There we go. I no longer have my hands on the controls. Let's go that way, please, shall we? Have to go into this. It's a little beyond the scope of the video of how the reason why the mini thrusters are pulsing automatically like that, because it's trying to keep itself from falling. Unfortunately, the auto hover system isn't perfect and it can't maintain altitude. It can't maintain a user set altitude. if I was to use a height sensor, I could maintain a given altitude, but I wouldn't be able to change it mid-flight. Let's come in for a landing, shut the shutters off, and hop out. And there we go. That's the basic stability system. Let's go ahead and get this video uploaded for my Reddit, for the Reddit user.